global competition increases every day, companies such as McDonald's, Dell, and Hard Rock successfully respond to the complexity, risk, and competition of the global economy with flexibility and speed. While firms pursue a global strategy for a variety of reasons, such as those listed here, Hard Rock does so primarily to attract new markets. Other theme restaurants have come and gone, yet Hard Rock remains #1 in the world, and its name brand recognition of 92% puts it in the top 10 worldwide. This strong brand name recognition has allowed Hard Rock to find markets throughout the world. From one London cafe in 1971, Hard Rock has grown to 106 locations in 38 countries. Most of that growth has occurred in the last few years. Hard Rock has done this by moving from a theme restaurant concept to one participating in what's now called the new experience economy. Recognizing that restaurant goers in big cities throughout the world don't just want a meal, they want an experience, Hard Rock has migrated from a simple restaurant to a restaurant with entertainment, and now to a restaurant offering experience in worldwide venues, which further enhances the strength of the brand. Because music is the language of the world, it crosses all boundaries with ease. It's universal, and rock music has a large international following. Hard Rock appeals to this global appreciation of music by adding venues worldwide. This adds an exotic international flavor that advances Hard Rock's experience strategy. Hard Rock's global operations management strategy is an integral part of providing this experience at each location. The experience economy manifests itself by people traveling on vacation who seek out new adventures and sights. For Hard Rock, this means that close to 70% of its guests are tourists seeking a special and memorable time. Hard Rock looks hard at all new locations and selectively franchises sites for new hotels and cafes. About half the foreign locations are company-owned.
When we're looking around the globe at new markets, we're looking at countries and we're looking at cities and we're looking at regions. In the US, we've had a fairly complete development program. So we're casting our net somewhat further afield. We're looking heavily in Europe and in Latin America and in some parts of Asia. Now, in all of these markets, you're dealing with a host of different considerations. So we really have to, going in, look at everything. We've got to look at political risk. We've got to look at currency risk. We've got to look at social norms and considerations of how our brand is going to fit within the context of that country, that region. We have to look at social costs. We have to look at ways of doing business. All of these things have to be studied, analyzed. The information has to be reviewed very closely, and then hopefully we come up with an intelligent decision at the end of the day.
The same applies to Hard Rock's global plan for hotel locations. With current sites in Orlando, Bali, and Las Vegas, Hard Rock's hotels, like its cafes, are themed, experience-oriented, and different. Franchises are granted to local operators of hotels and cafes when they believe local ownership will contribute a unique capability or local conditions suggest an unusual or difficult implementation. Hard Rock's international operations strategy is a multi-domestic strategy, as shown in the lower right corner, using its domestic model globally and franchising operations where it makes sense to do so. In addition, the decor of each restaurant and hotel is dynamic and unique, designed to reflect the global experience strategy. Hard Rock spends millions each year to purchase rock and roll memorabilia. Collections are circulated between the worldwide locations so that there's an ever-changing environment to be experienced the next time a guest visits. Hard Rock's collection to date is worth over $40 million. Some of the memorabilia is hands-on, with stories told about each item to increase its value to the guest. The memorabilia stories reflect the influences certain artists had on others, creating a connection between generations and the music itself.
This is one of our most unique pieces. It's from Jimi Hendrix, circa late 60s, just before he became the icon that he became. And part of his shtick at the time was setting his guitar on fire at the end of his concert. So this is one of the very first guitars that he had set on fire to launch his career. And what's significant about Jimi Hendrix, and if you look at all the cafes worldwide, each one has Elvis Presley, Rolling Stones, Beatles, and Hendrix. That's a constant in every cafe in the world. Hendrix is significant because of the amount of artists that he influenced. And that's part of our memorabilia presentation, is that when we put up a Hendrix piece, next to it we'll put up artists that were influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and they are tons of them. So, and the whole point is that how do we take past and present artists and accommodate both the older demographic as well as their children. So case in point, one of the people that most simply was influenced by Jimi Hendrix was Kurt Cobain. So when you go and see a Jimi Hendrix piece, you'll see a Kurt Cobain piece. Also, when you look down at Prince, Prince was also significantly influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and he's still going strong today. So it's really impactful to not only understand a piece of memorabilia, but what impact the artist had on today's music.
Food, hotels, music, and memorabilia aren't the only attractions. The merchandise shop in each cafe and hotel is very much a part of the Hard Rock experience. Each venue can only sell merchandise with its location-specific logo, so that leather jacket from Rome really came from the Rome location. This adds to the mystique of the Hard Rock experience. With close to 48% of total cafe sales coming from merchandise, guests have the chance to take home a t-shirt or jacket specifically branded to the Hard Rock Cafe just visited. Per-person merchandise sales actually are double the average individual restaurant and bar ticket.
The cafe layout and design elements are probably one of the most important things we spend time on. We try to immerse the guest into, if you will, a rock and roll experience, whether it be next to great memorabilia, whether that be Styx or Kiss or a progressive band going forward. That's one element, but also that can't stand on its own because it has to be more than a museum. It has to be alive, it has to be energetic. And for that to work, it has to be a great bar element, and there also has to be a great audio-visual element, along with great people, because people are a part of the entertainment experience. Our crew, our cast, our team is probably the most important elements in that. So we try to design all those things together to work in one, so that it does give a lot of sensory stimulation, but also focuses on a real clean and crisp experience. And that's what we concentrate on.
Hard Rock's e-commerce strategy extends its global branding even further. Their website, www.hardrock.com, gets over 100,000 hits a week. Hard Rock's global operations management strategy successfully combines music, international locations, globally branded merchandise, the World Wide Web, and attention to each guest's experience. The strategy works, with guests choosing Hard Rock Cafe for their dining and entertainment experiences the world over.
We use a lot of quotes here that have been around the company for some time, but my favorite is "Love all, serve all."